Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Uh, my name is Dr. Ahmad Muhyiddin bin Yusof. As your moderator for today's session, I would like to bid all of you welcome for today's event entitled Virtual Global Education Events 2021 towards the realm of innovation. Towards the realm of innovative teaching and training 2021. Okay. Before we start, I would like to also to promote a few more events organized by the Academy of Language Studies, UiTM Perak branch, and also with the collaboration of with the Universitas Terbuka Indonesia. Okay. The next series is going to be entitled Language and Behavior Profiling for Teaching and Learning. Our guest speaker is going to be Dr. Noor Tutaini Abdul Wahid, a senior lecturer from the Faculty of Education, UiTM Selangor. Okay, and our moderator is going to be Ms. Mahfuza Rafet, a senior lecturer from the Academy of Language Studies, UiTM Perak branch. The session is going to be held on Thursday, 9th of September 2021, Malaysia GMT 10 o'clock and Indonesia 9 a.m. Okay, training hours and e-certificate will be provided for the participant as well. Please don't forget to scan the QR code provided. Okay, this event is also organized by the UiTM Perak branch and also in collaboration with the Universitas Terbuka Indonesia and our strategic partner UiTM Global Department of International Affairs. I would like to also to invite our fellow audience to another event, okay, entitled Teaching and Learning Poster Ideas, TALPI 2021, with the theme of empowering innovative teaching and learning. This is practically a virtual competition. The registration and abstract submission is going to be on the 5th of August until the 18th of September 2021. The payment deadline needs to be paid before the 21st of September 2021. The judging period is going to be between between the 20th of September until the 23rd of September, and the announcement of the result is going to be on the 1st of October. I would like to also to inform you on the sub-themes on this competition. Is going to be a non-technological teaching and learning methods, digital technology in teaching and learning, pedagogy in education, and finally, assessment and evaluation in education. Basically, for TALPI 2021, we have two categories. Okay, category A is for school and higher education institution students. The local participant fee is going to be RM30 ringgit. Meanwhile, the international participant fee is going to be $50. The second category is for professional. The local participant is only RM50 ringgit. Meanwhile, for the international participant fee is going to be 25 ringgit. Please register now. Don't forget to scan our QR code. Don't forget, e-certificate for gold, silver, and bronze award will be awarded. Again, our program entitled TALPI is brought to you by UiTM Perak, Universitas Terbuka Indonesia, and our strategic partner UiTM Global. Our next event is going to be ELSA, the second International Conference on Education Language for Students and Adult Learners, ELSA 2021. This is going to be a fully virtual program. Okay, the keynote speaker for this program is by Prof. Dr. Abdul Karim Alias from University Science Malaysia, USM. And also he is also the director of the Center for Development of Academic Excellence. Our plenary speakers is going to be Prof. Dr. Othman Ismail, our Dean of Academy of Language Studies, Universiti Teknologi Shah Alam, and also Prof. Dr. Siu Fong Chung, a professor at the Department of English and at the National Changchi University, Taiwan. Okay, basically we are going to have three forum by Dr. Lutfi Agus Salim from the Department of Biosentetika dan Kependudukan from Universitas Aryangga Indonesia, Associate Professor Dr. Mavender Kaur, anak perempuan Sarjit Singh from the School of Language, Civilization and Philosophy SLCP, Universiti Utara Malaysia, and she's also the director of IIPO CS. And finally, Dr. Tilian Wong. She's the Vice Deputy of Science, Office of Science, Technology and International Cooperation, University of from the University of Foreign Language, Hue University, Vietnam. The theme for ELSA is going to be language, linguistics, language and ICT, e-learning, education, language teaching, special education, education and technology, and many more. The conference fee is for the students, for the presenter especially. The student is going to be RM 200 ringgit. For the local presenters is going to be 250, and the international is going to be US dollar 150. Okay. For next, awards and publication certificates for all awards for best presenters, live, poster and video, publication opportunities in Scopus, My Site, and ERA. Okay. Don't forget on the important dates. It's going to be on the abstract submission is going to be on the 1st of February from until the 31st of August 2021. Okay, the deadline for the papers is going to be 1st of September, and the deadline for the payment is also going to be the 1st of September. Finally, our ELSA 2021 pre-conference workshop. It is fully virtual, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, the first workshop is entitled Tools for Meaningful and Highly Engaging Learning on the 26th of October 2021 from 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. by Dr. Harwati Hashim, the Head of Program for Undergraduate TESOL and Senior Lecturer Center of Innovation in Teaching and Learning, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, UiTM. The second workshop is going to be entitled Using Electronic Marginalia for Writing. Wow, this is going to be a bombastic workshop. Okay, it's going to be held on the 26th of October 2021, Tuesday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. by Dr. Chong Su Lee. She is from the Department of Management and Humanities and Head of University Social Responsibility, Education Pillar, Universiti Teknologi Petronas. Okay, the workshop itself is going to be held and organized by two of our lecturers. Okay, their name is going to be Mr. Amri Sarip, Elias Sharif, and also Cik Mahfuza Rafiq. They are going to present another workshop entitled Speak Well, Local versus RP Pronunciation. Okay, their workshop is going to be also on the 26th of October from 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Don't forget the dates, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to scan the QR codes. Okay, before we initiate, allow me to inform that the today's session is going to be held in English language, Bahasa Malaysia and Bahasa Indonesia, as this is to facilitate the audience to further understand and today's session. And also before we start, let us begin with the Umul Kita Al-Fatihah, and for the rest of the audience, you may also practice your religion according to your belief and practice. Al-Fatihah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wa ala mursalin wa ala ashabihi ajmain. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir ya karim. Amin. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salutations, especially to our honorable guest, speaker Dr. Rahmat Budiman from the Universitas Terbuka Indonesia, and our fellow audience. We from the Academy of Language Studies, UiTM, Perak branch, would like to bid you the highest welcome to our program entitled Virtual Global Education Event 2021. Towards the realm of innovative teaching and training 2021. This effort is basically a collaboration between the Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, Universitas Terbuka, Indonesia, and the Academy of Language Studies, Universiti Teknologi Mara UiTM Perak branch. Primarily, this effort is to explore, dive, and reveal to our fellow audience regarding alternatives and innovation for online teaching, thus making the wheel of education run smoothly despite the spike of the pandemic COVID-19. Furthermore, this effort is aligned to the call of IR 4.0. We will also take this opportunity to bid the warmest of welcome to the Honorable Chairperson himself, Prof. Udan Kusmawan from the Universitas Terbuka, Indonesia, our beloved advisor herself, Dr. Putri Rohani Megat Abdul Rahim, and finally the director herself, Dr. Rafida Abdul Karim from the Universiti Teknologi Mara UiTM Perak branch. Ladies and gentlemen of distinct origin, the Virtual Global Education Event 2021 is practically consists of a series of webinars beginning from the 24th of August 2021 until the 21st of September 2021. Each webinar will present a different endeavor on innovative online teaching. As your host for today, my name is Dr. Ahmad Muhyiddin bin Yusof from the Academy of Language Studies, UiTM Perak branch. Sincerely will guide our prestigious audience for today's webinar entitled From Face-to-Face Online Learning, Some Insight from Teaching and Learning Post-COVID-19. As per mentioned, our distinct guest speaker, Dr. Rahmat Budiman, will present on the stated topic. But first, allow me to reveal the distinct audience on Dr. Rahmat's humble background, okay, in which is going to be presented in Bahasa Indonesia, insyaAllah. Okay. Dr. Rahmat Budiman mulai mengemban amanah sebagai Wakil Rektor Bidang Pengembangan Institusi dan Kerjasama Universitas Terbuka sejak 2 Februari 2021. Selain menjabat Wakil Rektor, beliau juga merupakan Sekretaris Jeneral di ASEAN Association of Open Universities AAOU period from dari 2020 sehingga 2022 yang bertugas ke Sekretarian AAOU. Pria yang akrab disapa Rahmat ini mengawali pendidikan tinggi S1 di Universitas Pakuan dengan mengambil jurusan sastra Inggeris. Dilanjut menempuh program S2 di Universitas Indonesia dengan pengutamaan linguistik, lulus dengan predikat cum laude. Sementara itu, gelar program S3 iaitu PhD ia raih di University of Dundee, Inggeris setelah mendapatkan beasiswa dari Bank Dunia. Oh, hebat ya. Lahir di Bogor tanggal 16 Januari 1971, penyuka teh pahit dan kopi. Ini mengawali karier di Universitas Terbuka pada tahun 1999 sebagai Sekretaris Jurusan Bahasa dan Sastra. Kemudian disusul jabatan lainnya seperti Ketua Jurusan Bahasa dan Sastra di FKIP UT, Penanggungjawab Bidang Protokoler dan Hubungan Internasional di PPHIK. Lalu Wakil Dekan Bidang Kemahasiswaan dan Kerjasama pada Fakultas Hukum, Ilmu Sosial dan Ilmu Politik FKIP dan saat ini Wakil Rektor Bidang Pengembangan Institusi dan Kerjasama. Menurutnya, pengalaman bekerja di UT menjadikannya pribadi yang profesional dan empati yang sangat tinggi. Selain ke luar negeri, saya pernah ke Sabang sampai Sorong, bahkan ke salah satu pulau terluar iaitu Tahunan. Saya yakin pendidikan adalah salah satu cara meningkatkan taraf kehidupan masyarakat. Ayah dari 2 orang puteri ini sangat menjaga kerapihan dan keserasian tampilannya. Lebih lanjut disampaikan bahawa ia memiliki personal fashion stylist iaitu isterinya. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Rahmat. Sila Pak, Dr. Rahmat sila.
Terima kasih, thank you very much Dr. Muhyiddin. Ladies and gentlemen, dear participants, good morning, selamat pagi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And I also would like to say hello to my colleagues from Universitas Terbuka. From the chat, I just now saw some of the directors of our region offices join this program. And of course, some of my students are also joining this program today. Well, today I am going to talk something not too serious, but not easy to talk actually. It is something that we experience at the moment since 2 years ago related to COVID-19. So because our time is not quite much, I would like now start to share my PowerPoint. And okay, can you see my PowerPoint now?
Okay, we can see it, Doctor.
All right, thank you. So my today presentation titles is from face-to-face to online learning, some insight into teaching and learning post-COVID-19. I hope that my presentation will give you some new information, or during the Q&A session, we can share our experience and also knowledge. As I mentioned before, that COVID-19 has changed all aspects in our lives, including education. For example, as far as I know, before COVID-19, offline learning and online learning are two different things. They are two different things which some people said they cannot be mixed or blended. Offline is or you can say face-to-face, and online learning is, as we know, that the learning that used internet as a delivery mode. Once again, that excuse me, before 19, there are two dichotomy between offline and online learning. And as we know that in Indonesia there is Universitas Terbuka, and also there are also some other, there are also conventional or face-to-face or offline universities. In Malaysia also you have Wawasan Open University and Open University Malaysia as online learning or distance learning. So there are these two systems are separated. There are two different things. Now, because there are two different learning systems, sometimes, or we can say this is a new, a sexy topic for, once again, this is a sexy topic for, or interesting topic for researchers to compare and contrast between online or distance and versus traditional learning. If you check the Google Scholars or Google some, for example, when you type online versus traditional or distance learning versus face-to-face, you will find huge number of articles related to this topic. Here I show you some of the articles that I happen to found in Google Scholars. For example, Tucker in his article try to determine if distance education is better, worse, or as good as traditional education. So he is trying to compare and contrast between online or distance versus traditional learning. And he found that there is no difference between online or distance and traditional learning in terms of system and then the students' perspectives. So the conclusion, he said that the study concurs with the general body of knowledge that distance education can be just as good as traditional face-to-face education. Why I mention this article, because as far as I know, distance learning is sometimes or most often are underestimated. Some people say that distance education or online learning is a second rate of education. But Tucker 2001 found that there is no difference between online or distance learning and traditional learning. Then Wilson's study, which aimed to determine whether there is a significant difference, the success rate of online versus face-to-face learners at one historically black college or university, or HBCU, and found there's a significant difference. Yeah, he said that he wants to know whether the online learning students success rate is different or is lesser than traditional university students. But again, they found that there is no difference between distance learning students and traditional university students in terms of success rate. Yeah, although we know that if you happen to check or check from the Google scholars, you will find that some article who mention that the success rate in distance learning university is much higher than students in conventional university. But Wilson and Allen prove that, at least from their article in their university, that the success rate between online or distance learning students and traditional university is not different. Then I found an article written by Yerby and Freud, 2013. They are investigating the difference between the mean GPA for traditional education program in information technology and in fully program in the same courses. They found that the GPA between the GPA of the online learning students and traditional learning students are not different. And then the next, in 2019, Sibirskaya, Popkova, Offensikova, and Tarasova compare remote education and traditional education in terms of its effectiveness. Yeah, effectiveness. They said that online learning offers much more effectiveness, as it offers students much more flexibility in learning. Yeah, once again, that they found that distance learning or online learning offer much more possibilities or benefits for students to manage or to arrange their learning. So they said that in terms of effectiveness, online learning is better than traditional learning. The last one, in 2020, Khalid, Basir, and Amin highlight to the relationship between self-directed learning. It says self-directed. They compare the self-directed learning of distance learning students and traditional learning students. They found that distance self-directed learning of distance learning students is higher than traditional learning student. Yeah. From my experience, that this is because distance learning students are required to manage their studies since the first semester. So we will discuss this later in the next slide. Okay, that's the situation before COVID-19. And then 2 years ago, when COVID-19 outbreaks strike, and then from my point of view, I saw that online learning and offline learning are combined. They are blended. Yeah, some of universities, for example, in Indonesia, who never use online learning, were starting to adopt online learning into their system, because at that time uh, we are not allowed to hold face-to-face classes. So, but in some areas, for example, because at the time COVID-19 in Indonesia is not as worse today, some provinces, some schools are still were still offering face-to-face teaching. This is in the early stage of COVID-19. So you can see that we call the blended learning. Yeah. For example, my daughters, who at the time was in the second grade of high school, was required to attend online learning in some days, and she also had to attend face-to-face meeting in class. This is the early stage in COVID-19. I'm sure that in some parts of Malaysia also the same. This is during the COVID-19, because of the pandemic is getting worse and worse. So there is no face-to-face meeting anymore for the elementary, even in the kindergarten or tadika, as elementary, secondary, and high school, and then university level. There is no face-to-face meeting. There is no face-to-face meeting because the government or said applies what we call PPKM, or the strict community activity restriction. So there is no face-to-face meeting anymore. All all universities were transforming into online learning. They are dragged, they are forced to offer online learning. Yes, and then we will discuss this later. And then when I read the BBC on 25th August 2020, in Korea, for example, South Korea
Hello, Dr. Rahmat, Doctor. Ladies and gentlemen, I think Dr. Rahmat is currently having internet problem right now. Let's just wait for Dr. Rahmat to recover. Okay. While waiting for Dr. Rahmat reconnecting his internet connection, ladies and gentlemen are allowed to ask question, and during his talk, I will forward the question for you. I would like also to take this opportunity to kindly follow and like our Facebook and YouTube pages. Do share our program today to increase our reach. Thank you very much. Coming soon, another virtual global education event 2021 webinar, Language and Behavior, Profiling and Behavior Profiling, for teaching and learning. This coming Thursday, on the September 9th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Malaysian time. Our guest speaker is going to be Dr. Nur Tutiani Abdul Wahid, Senior Lecturer from the Faculty of Education, UiTM Selangor. And our moderator is going to be Miss Mahfuza Rafiq, a Senior Lecturer from Universiti Teknologi Mara, UiTM Perak Branch. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to also to take this opportunity to share with you regarding experiences for during this pandemic season. Okay, I'd like to advise ladies and gentlemen to always stay calm and be calm and have a bit of empathy for our students, as I strongly believe not everyone have the luxury to use all of the sophisticated gadgets such as computers and smartphones. Okay. I will try to contact Dr. Rahmat to ask him whether he has any problem with his internet connection. Di samping itu, saya juga ingin mengucapkan selamat datang, selamat sejahtera dan salam sihat kepada penonton daripada Indonesia. Kami juga Saya juga ingin mengucapkan selamat datang kepada Universitas Ihsan Gorontalo dan juga kepada Universitas Pengerang. Okay, selamat datang dan selamat siang kepada ke program kami. Saya juga berharap agar tuan-tuan dan puan-puan mendapat input yang sangat berguna dan boleh digunakan untuk mengajar anak bangsa. Okay, sesungguhnya pendidikan itu penting. Walaupun banyak yang mengatakan wang itu penting, tetapi kalau wang tidak ada ilmu, wangnya bisa habis dan seperti air sungai yang mengalir. Dan insya-Allah kalau ada ilmu, akhlak dan juga harta juga tidak habis insya-Allah. Soalan daripada Dr. Rafidah Abdul Karim. Okay. Dear Dr. Ahmad, is Universitas Terbuka practice blended learning or fully online during COVID pandemic? Any changes before and during pandemic? Okay, Dr. Rafidah, we will wait for Dr. Rahmat to reconnect his internet connection. Selamat datang Nur Insani. Okay. Selamat datang Hera Dinda daripada UPB JJ Bandung. Ibu dan bapa, ya, selamat hadir ya. Selain menunggu Dr. Rahmat untuk menyambungkan semula connection internetnya, ibu-ibu dan bapa, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan juga boleh memberikan buah fikiran dekat YouTube kami dan juga Facebook kami. Mungkin sementara menunggu itu, kita bisa juga untuk berkongsi idea dan pendapat dan juga pengalaman semasa menjalankan kelas sebelum dan semasa pandemik COVID-19. Saya juga ingin ambil kesempatan untuk menyampaikan barakah Waalaikumsalam kepada UT Semarang, Jawa Tengah. Selamat datang ya. Barakah Waalaikumsalam. Ibu-ibu dan bapa juga boleh memberikan komentar ya. Tuan-tuan dan puan juga boleh memberikan komen di YouTube kami untuk berkongsi sedikit sebanyak pengalaman ataupun buah fikiran kepada tetamu kita daripada tenaga pengajar daripada Indonesia, dan ibu-ibu dan bapa-bapa juga boleh memberikan komentar merupakan idea yang bernas untuk tenaga pengajar di Malaysia. Sesungguhnya pendidikan itu tidak ada benteng, dan pendidikan itu adalah untuk semua. Coming soon, another virtual global education event 2021, language and behavior profiling for teaching and learning. This Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget your dates and calendar. Brought to you by UiTM Perak, Universitas Terbuka Indonesia, dan juga our strategic partner UiTM. Di samping itu, saya juga ingin memberikan mohon maaf ya terhadap speech saya tadi. Ada ralat di mana kita punya dekan untuk Fakulty for Teacher and Training bukan lagi Dr. Usmawan, Dr. Prof. Udan, tetapi Dr. Ucu Rahayu. Saya mohon maaf ya. Saya juga ingin mengucapkan selamat datang dan selamat siang kepada Dr. Ucu Rahayu, the Dean of FKIP, Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, Universitas Terbuka Indonesia. Nampaknya Dr. Rahmat masih mempunyai masalah internet connection ya. Ibu-ibu dan bapa-bapa juga boleh memberikan komentar ya di YouTube kami untuk memberikan juga boleh memberikan topik ya sementara menunggu Dr. Ahmad menyambungkan internet dia. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan di Malaysia juga boleh memberikan komen di YouTube dan page Facebook kami untuk memberikan mungkin topik-topik ataupun tajuk-tajuk ataupun idea-idea untuk dikongsikan kepada tenaga-tenaga pengajar dan para hadirin pada hari ini. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, ibu-ibu dan bapa-bapa, Dr. Ahmad masih sedang dalam proses untuk menyambung semula internetnya dan sidangnya. Okay, kita tunggu sikit lagi. Pihak audience juga boleh bertanyakan soalan ya, dan ibu-ibu dan bapa-bapa juga boleh memberikan juga pendapat dan idea di komentar, dan juga boleh membuat perbincangan ya di page YouTube kami dan Facebook kami. Okey, antara satu soalan yang sering berlegar-legar di kepala setiap pensyarah, terutamanya saya semasa di zaman pandemik COVID-19 banyak orang pertikaikan
I'm sorry.
Which one is better? Smartphone? Itu dia. Alhamdulillah Dr. Ahmad dah kembali.
Mohon maaf.
Tidak mengapa doktor, tidak mengapa. Okey, kita teruskan insya-Allah.
Okay. Ya. Ya, bisa.
Okey, Dr. Ahmad sila.
Okey, sebentar. Okey, sekejap.
Okey, ibu-ibu dan bapa-bapa, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, sila berikan Dr. Ahmad sedikit ruang sementara beliau sedang menguruskan masalah teknikal beliau ya. Balik pada soalan saya tadi, sementara menunggu Dr. Ahmad, kita boleh berbincangkan mana gadget yang bagus semasa zaman pandemik ni, smartphone ataupun laptop. Mana satu yang sangat berkesan untuk dijadikan platform mengajar dan belajar, terutamanya di zaman pandemik COVID-19. Okay, please comment and please share your comments in our YouTube channel and our Facebook channel, ladies and gentlemen, while waiting for Dr. Rahmat to solve his technical issues. Inshallah, it will be resolved shortly. Ini dia, this is from Ristasa Agusta. The COVID-19 pandemic has opened our understanding that distant learning is an alternative in learning for those who are constrained by time and distance. It's true, so true. It helps to connect because during the pandemic COVID-19 itself, the students and the teachers has been scattered. They are not allowed to go to school, they are not allowed to gather anymore. So online teaching and learning and online platform and online gadgets has become a platform and become a bridge to bridge education, learning session and knowledge to the students from the teachers. This is from Miss Diana Suziana, Muhammad Shah. Both Dr. Idin, tengok keadaan. Kadang-kadang bila ada test, perlukan laptop. It's true. Handphone juga sangat berguna untuk share info-info penting. So, dalam hal ni amat penting. Kedua-dua gadget itu sama penting je lah. Okay, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome everybody to to Virtual Global Education Event 2021. Kindly follow and like our Facebook and YouTube pages. Do share our program today to increase our reach. Thank you very much. Okay, welcome back, Dr. Ahmad.
Thank you. Mohon maaf. Okay. Okay, where were we? I think here. Okay, I will. Okay,
This is
can
the
you?
one, Dr. Ahmad.
Okay, this is before we interrupt you. Okay, so during the COVID-19, because the government, it is Indonesia, for example, are not allowed schools to hold face-to-face meeting. So all schools, starting from elementary, secondary, high school, and university, were transforming from face-to-face to online learning. All learning materials, all learning and teaching process is conducted through online learning. So because because we were forced or we were dragged to become online learning, there are some challenges we have to respond. This is the challenges that I found that we have to respond. The first one is curriculum. Because of the abrupt change, the curriculum now is still using let's say the normal curriculum. And then the students itself, that they were not ready yet to study in online learning system. And then the teacher, as I mentioned before, that they do not have experience, for example, because they were not trained to become online online teachers. They do not know how to deliver at the time, actually, at least in the beginning of COVID-19. And then infrastructure, as mentioned, that in Indonesia, in particular, that the infrastructure, in particular regarding to internet access, it is not equally distributed. Some remote areas, people who lives in some remote areas, they do not have access into internet. The next is policies that we need. We need policies that can respond to these challenges, all from the curriculum to mindset. And then parents and carer, as I mentioned before, I was interrupted due to technical problem. We are not ready. The students are not ready. Parents are not ready to shift from face-to-face into online learning. And then the next is weakened purchasing power. Due to COVID-19, some parents lost their job. They do not have enough fund to buy, for example, gadget, mobile phone, laptop, PC, or tablet. So they do not have enough resources to give their students tools to follow the teaching and learning process in online learning system. And the second one is mindset. So the last one is mindset. As we know that people are still underestimating the online learning. Yeah, they say that the common terms that I often hear from my neighbors is the teacher is
Google. The teacher is Google. Yes. So the students only play with their laptop. They read some site or website, and then they do not learn. Actually, the students don't learn. That is the mindset that the people the parents have. And then now is I want to respond to my presentation title about post-COVID. When we are talking about post-COVID-19, we are not sure, and no one can know when COVID-19 ends. No one knows. Even when is COVID-19? When is post-COVID-19 begin? We don't know, because although in some countries, for example, the number of people who get infected by COVID-19 is decreasing, but in some other countries, it is still high. For example, in Indonesia, there is in Jakarta Post, I read yesterday, has Indonesia's Delta peak passed? Experts say not yet. We don't know the Delta variant peaks when. We don't know. People said that the peak was a month ago, but said that no, we don't know when. So when we are talking about post COVID-19, actually we don't know. We don't know when it's post COVID. So as I mentioned before, after COVID, this is before, after COVID-19 or post-COVID-19, will the system will like this? There is a difference. So online learning will become online learning, and offline learning will go back to the offline learning. Will it be like that after COVID-19? And then this is from my point of view. This is my point of view that post-COVID-19 pandemic, the situation will be like this. In some areas, so online and offline learning will be blended. Students may schools, for example, school and universities may offer online learning in some certain subject or courses, and they still offer offline learning for some certain subject, for example, for practical and practical. Yes. So this is my my forecast, after for post COVID-19. The online learning and offline learning will be blended, but online learning portion will still be higher. This is from Jakarta Post yesterday. The Ministry of National Education, Research and Technology of Republic Indonesia that Nadiem push classroom learning meets resistance as health concern remains. In Jakarta, for example, some schools can open their school. So it means that students can attend face-to-face meetings. But in some areas, for example, in level 4, what we call in level 4 when the suspect is high, we call it level 4.
Excuse me, Dr. Ahmad, if I may.
Yes.
Is the slide moving? It's like the slide is like start on slide number 5.
Okay. Wait a minute.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmad.
Okay. This is number. Can you read the Jakarta Post?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes. So now in Indonesia, I'll go back to this first. Okay. This is a post-COVID pandemic situation from my opinion, based on my experienced that after post-COVID-19, online learning and offline learning will be blended. But online learning portion will be higher than offline learning. So still students needs to attend online classes. Offline learning can be held for some certain subject, for example, for courses or subject that needs practice or practical. Why I think that it will be blended? Because, for example, in Jakarta itself, the Ministry of National Education, Research and Technology of Republic Indonesia is now allowing school to reopen. Yeah, but in some areas, in some provinces, in some cities and districts where COVID-19 is still high, the students still do remote learning. To respond this, so this is what we call in class. So students can attend the face-to-face meeting. They go to school, they meet their teacher, and then their students. But from I heard that the number of students attending the class is not as much as usual. Maximum, if I'm mistaken, is 50%. This is my concern. This is my concern. Online learning. As I mentioned in the previous slide, in slide number 6, regarding the challenges, there are 8 challenges. We have to respond to the challenge. What we have to do to answer or to respond to the challenges, this is what I'm going to explain. This is I display the challenges that we are facing during the COVID-19. And then this is what we have to do regarding the curriculum. This is what we have to do with the curriculums. We have to reset the goal because the condition is different. The condition is different. We are not in a normal situation, so we have to revisit the curriculum. We have to set the goal. We have to set the method. We have to set the material. We have to set the assessment. In other words, we must have a pandemic curriculum. A pandemic curriculum which consists of goal, method, material, assessment that is suitable with the current situation. Why I mention that must be suitable with the current situation? Because from my own view, my wife is also a teacher in secondary school. The curriculum is still using the normal curriculum, and then the material is using the normal situation materials. The assessment was as well. But it is important to mention that the situation is different now. The situation is different. For example, the course materials, the learning material should adapt. Yeah, should adapt the COVID-19, the COVID-19 online situation.
Pardon me, Dr. Rahmat, if I may. The clock has struck 11 a.m. I think we can also invite questions from the audience while Dr. Rahmat is presenting his slide. I've noticed that there are 2 questions. Dr. Ahmad, if I may, can you answer these 2 questions while presenting your slides?
Yes.
Okay, one coming from Dr. Rafida Abdul Karim. Is Universitas Terbuka practice blended learning or fully online during COVID pandemic? Any changes before and during pandemic?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Afida. Yes, before COVID-19, Universitas Terbuka also offer what we call blended learning. Students are some students in some program of studies or students in some departments are still required to attend face-to-face meeting that we conducted in our regional office, in our regional
Hmm.
offices. But due to COVID-19, we were transforming now. We were transforming. We do not hold face-to-face meeting anymore, but we transformed it into what we call webinar. Webinar, it means it is like in class, but it is what we call a synchronous teaching and learning. Student and teacher must be online in the same, just like us today. Teacher can lead the discussion, so students can discuss with their peers. And then the tutor can raise the issues related to the specific topics that needs to be highlighted or to study further. So we do not during COVID-19, we do not have face-to-face meeting anymore, but we change the face-to-face into online.
I see, I
I hope.
see. Okay, Dr. Rahmat, one more question. Similar ground with the situation of having online classes. Okay, a question coming from Ibu Diana Suziana Muhammad Shah. Bapak Rahmat, how do you think your students have adapted to this online learning?
Yes, a month ago, my second, yeah, I also gave a seminar with my colleagues from Malaysia. At the time, I presented the students' perspective about the online learning. In the previous semester, they do not attend webinar, yeah, a synchronous webinar, but they were attending face-to-face tutorial. And then I send them some questionnaire, open-ended questionnaire to them, and then ask their opinions and perspective about the changing from face-to-face into online. They said that they found it helpful and then much interesting because they were using technologies. They do not have to travel because, for example, I would like to tell you that some students have to travel more than 10 kilometers to reach the learning center. So due to the transformation from face-to-face in learning center into online, some students they found that it helped them because they do not need to travel. It means they do not need to spend much more money. they they can spend their time together with their families, but at the same time they they have opportunities to discuss some topics with their peers and their tutors. I hope this answer.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rahmat. If I may please proceed with your slide, Doctor.
Okay. Okay, this is the curriculum, and then this is the student. Our students, we need to introduce, develop, and improve what we call mental readiness. Yes, we have to develop mental readiness. Students who study in open university, in distance or online learning, they have their some certain mental readiness because they know they will not meet their teacher, they will not meet their peers, friends they know it. But in this case, because we are now changing from face-to-face to online learning, we have to introduce our student what is online learning, how to develop mental readiness, and how to improve their skill under some certain mastery level. So they need to be trained how to use laptop, for example. They need to be trained how to download. They need to be trained how to upload, how to communicate, because this part, as far as I know, was missing. Yeah, so students are forced to join online learning. They don't know how to use this. They don't know how to download, to upload, to respond, and to do the respond. Even they don't know how to join for example, the online class. So the teacher sometimes needs to call the student one by one. Hey, this is time for online meeting. You have not upload the assignment, like that. So we have to build student awareness about mental readiness. At the same time, we have to introduce, develop, and improve their ICT skill. And then this is the teacher. In the previous slide, I said that the teachers are not ready with this situation because they are not trained to teach in online learning system using internet. They are accustomed to teaching and learning, teaching in front of the class. For some teachers, new technologies are quite new or totally new because they don't know how to operate the PC or computer, for example. They use mobile phone only for communication, not for teaching. This is what I read from the UNESCO, that new technologies require new teachers' roles, new pedagogies, and new approaches to teacher training. The successful integration of ICT into the classroom will depend on the ability of teachers to structure the learning environment in non-traditional ways. Once again, I will going back to the to slide number 15. This will not happen. Yeah, introducing to ICT, developing ICT skill, improving ICT skill, and then building mental readiness will not be successful if the teacher does not know how to. Yeah, they must have mastery in ICT, not only in ICT, also in new pedagogies. Yes. We are not late, but we are we are not late, but we are racing against the time. So teachers, we have to improve the teacher. We have to introduce teachers with new policies, with the new pedagogies, so that students, the learning and teaching process will be successful. Okay, this is the infrastructure. As I mentioned before, that internet access in Indonesia is not well distributed. In some areas, people still have challenges to have internet access. This is from a report from Azahra and Amanta, 2021, page 6. In Indonesia, internet users are predominantly households with higher incomes. As I mentioned before, that the weakened purchasing power is getting lower. So it means that those who are having internet access is getting lesser and lesser. Okay, and then this is the policies. The Ministry of the Ministry of National Education, Research and Technology, Indonesia during COVID-19 introduced some policies. For example, learning from home, okay, and then national examination cancelled, and then we give internet quota to students and also teacher, and then we have there two, and then full day education program and TVRI. This is a national state-owned TV station, and then the ministry also introduced application Guru Belajar and Guru Berbagi. So these are two policies that the government introduced to respond to the challenges. In particular, I would like to highlight the last one, Guru Berbagi and Guru Belajar and Guru Berbagi. This platform can be used by teachers to share their experience and knowledge, and then there are also some interesting materials that can be downloaded and learned by the teacher. So if I go to the 16, that this one that about the new pedagogies in portal Guru Belajar and Guru Berbagi, you can find some new introduced pedagogies as response to the COVID-19. And then this is parents carer. Parents and carer are limited to understand the subject. So because the students mostly spend their time at home, studying at home, if they go to school, they can ask the subject to their friend and teachers. But during the online learning, their parents cannot help them. Yeah. For example, I myself, when my daughter asks me about math, I don't understand, because what I learned some years ago is quite different from what my daughter is learning now. So parents, most of parents say that they don't know much about the subject the subject that their children learn, and then the parents are limited to develop their children learning motivation because they are busy with their own commitments. It is quite difficult for them to motivate the student to study, because as far as I know, motivating our children is not enough by saying, go to study. We have to sit with them, we have to talk with them, and then find the solution with them. Then, okay, have much free time to accompany the children learning. Yeah. Okay, and then because, excuse me.
Okay, while waiting for Dr. Rahmat to resume his lecture, ladies and gentlemen, ibu-ibu dan bapa can also provide questions so that our speaker can answer your inquiries.
Sorry,
Okay,
there
Dr.
was,
Rahmat, everything's okay?
yeah. Is
Okay,
there
Dr. Rahmat,
yeah.
please resume.
Okay. Right. Yes. Okay. And then say parents they don't have free time to accompany their children learning. Sometimes the children don't know how to find the answer. The only solution is Googling. And then because teachers are not parents are not teachers, they do not have more patience as teachers do. And then operate gadget, some parents they do not know how to use gadget or laptop or PC or even mobile phone. And then the last one is they're limited to have internet access. Parents and students they do not have internet access. It means that they cannot follow the teaching and online learning. And then this is the problem that the parents have. What we can do is we have to also to quote unquote to teach the parents to build their awareness. The situation is different from the normal situation. They must involve in teaching and learning process because their children are studying from home. So students are invited to become, I can say, the second teacher at their own home. Okay. And then,
Dr. Ahmad,
yeah.
if I may, there are two questions. One is
Okay.
from myself and one is from Bapak Sahwat. Okay, is it okay for Dr. Ahmad to answer a few questions?
Yes, please.
Okay, Dr. Ahmad, question number one. Okay, this question might be extremely sensitive. If I may, Doctor, since the pandemic has ravaged the world economy, a new stigma has arisen in which work is more essential than education, or perhaps generating money is better than going to classes. What is your insight regarding this matter, especially the involvement of parents who are pressuring their children to find money? Please, Doctor, if you may.
Yeah. Yes, but from I always commute from my home to my office every day, before COVID and after COVID. About 5 or 6 months, in the last 5 or 6 months, I saw different situation. I would like to say that in Malaysia, what we call a street musician, yeah, what we call pengamen jalanan, street musician. Nowadays, I found there are many school-age children. They do, they do like a street musician. I don't know whether it is their own willingness to become a street musician. They jump from one bus to another bus. They jump from one public transportation to another public transportation. I don't know whether they are forced by their parents or it is their own willingness. If I see their age, they are school age children. I think maybe this is maybe I am wrong, but I think that maybe they do not have enough tools or infrastructure to join the classes, online classes, or their parents they do not have enough time to share with them, to study together, to solve the school homework together. And then they found that there is there's nothing. Going to school is nothing. They better to find something. This is money by becoming a street musician. I may be wrong because we need further study about this. But due to due to the decreasing purchasing power, what I felt, what I saw, that some parents cannot buy or set mobile phone, so that their children cannot attend, that they cannot follow they cannot follow the teaching and learning process. But the good thing is that to tackle this problem, usually schools send their teacher to meet their the students having problem, and they give lecture lesson, and then sometimes also the students go to school to have certain lesson from the parents. That's what I see. Yes.
Okay. The second question, Doctor, if I may, from Bapak Safwat. Salam hormat Bapak. Apakah nasihat atau kata-kata semangat Bapak untuk para pendidik yang merasa takut atau risau untuk menggunakan teknologi dalam pendidikan? Terima kasih Bapak.
Yeah. If you cannot adapt with the situation, if you cannot adapt with this, you cannot survive. You will be forgotten. It is a must. Yeah, it is a must. Yeah, for some, I'm sorry, for some teachers who, let's say, above 50 or 45, maybe they have some problems to adapt themselves with the new technologies, but I'm sure with the training, they will be able to operate the computer. Once again, if we cannot adapt ourselves with the new technology, particularly in the teaching and learning process, I don't know. What I can say that teaching, learning, and the students will be left behind. Yeah, the students, they cannot compete, because we have as teachers, we have to prepare our students to compete with other people someday in the future. So if we cannot equip ourselves with new technologies, it means that we cannot prepare our students with appropriate or enough skill and competencies to compete with other students. So this is a must. Thank you, Dr. Muhyiddin.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Rahmat, for the explanation. Okay, let's continue with the slides, Doctor.
Yeah, I still have 2 more slides, I think. Okay, this is
Okay.
60% of Indonesian consumers experience decrease in household income. Okay, once again, this is our challenges. The government of Indonesia have responded to this situation by providing free internet quota to students, teachers, and then now we are the government is giving what we call cash, for people under some certain requirements. So, for example, people under who do not have job, for example, they have cash from the government. And then what I heard that now that the government is preparing an assistance for students with a laptop. Yes, so students who do not have access to computer, they do not have a laptop, the government I heard that the government will soon provide a laptop. The government will distribute it. They will distribute laptop to those who cannot afford buying computers. And then this is the last one. This is the mindset. This is the hardest one, I think. This is the hardest one. We have to change, to open the mindset that online learning is as good as face-to-face learning. We have to develop awareness to change the mindset that online, the students, even in early stage, in early education, they can study through online learning. But once again, the challenge is we have to prepare. We have to prepare the teacher first. Yeah, we have to prepare the teacher first. We have to prepare the curriculum, teachers who's who are able to operate computer, who have ICT mastery level, where so that they can deliver the teaching learning materials in the correct ways, so the students finally can what we call achieve mastery level in each courses. I think it is my last slide. The next slide is references, and then the last one is thank you. If you have any question, I would be very happy to respond. Thank you.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much, Dr. Rahmat, for a very insightful lecture regarding the topic. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Ibu dan Bapa, you may please ask questions to our honorable guest speaker, Dr. Rahmat, if you have any inquiry. While waiting for the guest to give a few questions, if I may, Doctor, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that face-to-face class is still relevant due to the firm amalgamation of online classes by educational institution, or perhaps after the COVID-19 pandemic has over?
Yeah, I think it will become a choice. Yeah, for those who likes to study in online, they can select or they can choose online learning. But if they do not like online learning, they still can choose the or set the offline learning. Just like now, we are shopping. Yeah, in the maybe 3 or 5 years ago, online shopping is something strange. People still prefer going to shop, the physical shop, yeah, to shop, to mall, to buy something. But now people, what's that? When they want to buy something, they prefer to go online. They do online shopping. So this is, I think, what is going to happen after the COVID. People will have preferences. So that's why we still need face-to-face university or school, and then we must provide also distance or online learning. Online learning and online learning and conventional universities, we are not competing. We are providing two different things. For those who like online learning, please, you can join the online learning universities. For those who like to attend the class physically, they can go to also the conventional university. So during the COVID, after the COVID-19, I think they will be separated again, but there will be a blended, yeah, a gap, a bridge between online and offline learning. There will be the third one is blended.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. Okay, we also have a question from Ibu Diana juga. Okay, very active, ya, Ibu Diana. Okay, the questions like this, Dr. Ahmad. I think to know the impact of changing assessment policies on students' achievement before and during the COVID-19 pandemic, we need a research study if there is any significant differences in the students' achievement. My question is, there is any studies regarding these issues either in Malaysia or Indonesia? Doctor, if you may.
Yeah, thank you. In Universitas Terbuka itself, I don't think uh, we have a research like this, but at the moment, together with my colleagues, I am conducting a research comparing what's that learning what's that learning strategies. Yes, learning strategies of low and high achiever during COVID-19. And then because we see that there must be different learning strategies used by higher and lower achievers. But we do not have, as far as I know, we do not have any research that seek the differences between the student achievement during and then before and after COVID-19. But I think it is very interesting, interesting topics. Yeah, I think it is interesting topics. And then, yeah, in Indonesia, in Malaysia, I don't know yet. But in Indonesia, in particular in UT, I think so far, we don't have any research that compare this achievement. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Another question from Dr. Rafida Abdul Karim. Okay, regarding the question about which one is important, money or education, and regarding the story that you told us on becoming a street musician. Okay, question coming from Dr. Rafida. The children became the street musician. I think most of them probably because they know or lack of devices and economic problem. This is a new environment that I have heard from you, Dr. Rahmat. Can you please elaborate more? Because the stigma is very powerful. Even the same stigma has influenced even Malaysians nowadays. They are no longer looking at the importance of education. Some stigma saying that kalau tak belajar pun aku boleh dapat duit. Elaborate more on that one, Doctor, if you may.
Yeah. One thing I would like to highlight is that from my observation that most of children who become street musicians are coming from poor families. Yes, where parents maybe they do not have time to share time with their children, and then of course they do not have enough infrastructure such as a mobile phone or set a laptop or PC to join the online learning. But I think one thing that is important is that they do not think that education is important thing. Yeah. So for just like you said, tak sekolah pun bisa cari uang. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
But they forget that if you you are educated, you will get much more money if you compared to if you are not educated. That's the stigma. We have to we have to build this awareness to our society that one day I met a friend from Sumatera Utara, from North Sumatra, he is Bataknese. There is a good philosophy that we have to learn and to remember. The philosophy is in bahasa Indonesia called biar miskin asal sekolah. Biar miskin asal sekolah. Okay, it is very, very important, I think. That's why we have to share this to our society, that although we are poor, we are not able to, we don't have enough money, but education is number one. Yeah, education is number one. Education will improve our life, and then education will help them to escape from the the poverty. Yeah, from the poverty. I think it is what we call that. Yeah, from what I know, that I want to say that most of the children who become street musician, from my observation, mostly they come from low level, poor. I can say maybe a poor society, poor class, and then where parents do not have time to spend time with their children to talk about education. Let's say maybe they do not care about their children's education. And then the second one, the children itself, because they do not have role model, they do not have someone to motivate them to study, so they become street musician because maybe they think that it is the easiest way to get money, or even the small money. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Rahmat, for your sharing. Okay, a few more questions, if I may, Doctor. Why do we need to conduct online interaction classes while we can just conduct independent learning? And instead, we can upload videos for the student. Why is it important to have interaction classes?
Okay. Okay. If we go back to theory of interaction introduced by Moore, at least there are three interactions in online or distance learning. The first interaction between students and teacher, and then the interaction between students and peers, and interaction between students and learning materials. So interaction between student and for example, interaction between student and teachers or tutor, for example, it is still important in distance learning, in online learning, because as I mentioned that we are not ready, particularly students who in the first semester or students in elementary, secondary, and high schools, they are not accustomed to study independently. When I mentioned about mental readiness, yeah. When I mentioned about mental readiness, this is the mental readiness. If students do not have mental readiness, or their mental readiness is strong enough, they need interactions. But once their mental readiness is strong, they are able to manage the study by themselves. They have self-regulated, they have good self-regulated learning. They do not need interaction, as far as I know. I believe that once the students have mental readiness, self-regulated is good, they do not need interaction. At least, yeah, not too often. Yeah. That's my answer, Dr. Muhyiddin.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. This is regarding during online classes, Dr. Rahmat. Okay, how to counter boredom during online classes? Because most of the lecturers and also teachers having such problems where sometimes the students, feel bored looking at the camera. In fact, how to counter such problem, based on your experience, Dr. Rahmat.
Yes, yeah. From my experience is that we we have in the first session, we have to ask the students to write down the topics that they need to study further, or the topics they still do not understand. Because if we are talking about something that from the book, maybe the students already understood. Yeah, so they will not be interested. But if we are talking about something that they need to know, they will be participating. They will be participating actively. That's from my experience. So, for example, when we are talking about definition about this everything, nobody respond. For example, but if we know, if we have identified the subject or the topics that the students still do not understand, and then I was said I uploaded, I shared the screen with the students about one questions, and then the students engage in the online class actively. I think that. So the topic must be coming from the students, not from the teacher.
So it becomes a student centered.
Yes, that's the main of the online learning or distance learning. Student center, not the teacher center.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doctor. Okay, a question from our audience, Hera Dinda YT. Kalau menurut bapa, efektifkah belajar secara online seperti ini? Terima kasih.
Yeah. Effective, yeah, as mentioned, if we go back to the third slide, when I compare between online and then offline universities, you can find that online learning is more effective because we have the online learning. You have much more we have much more freedom to manage our study. Yeah. For example, if you are tired, for example, if you are attending a conventional university, you are quote unquote forced to sit in a class, whether you have prepared or not, you are in a good mood or not, and then you have to sit. And then you are listening to the lecturer's speech, for example, and then you don't know whether you have something in your mind or not. But in distance education, because you do the learning by yourself, and then you manage the learning by yourself, and then you have to force yourself. Once you have a set timetable to study, you have to follow, and you have to study by yourself. If you do not study, you will not get anything. But if you attend a conventional university, maybe you do not study, but because you are listening to the lecturers, and then there's something in your mind. Yeah, you will know something because you are listening, not you are seeking. If in distance learning or in online learning, you know something because you yourself are seeking what you want to know. That's what I want to say, that distance learning or online learning is much more effective in compared to conventional university. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Rahmat. I would like to take this opportunity to remind the audience, ibu-ibu dan bapa-bapa, jangan lupa untuk mengisi kehadiran dan juga untuk mendapatkan e-cert ya di platform YouTube dan di Facebook. Okay, Doctor, a few more questions. Does switching on the teachers and students' camera during online class is compulsory? Because some institution demanded that during class students need to turn on their cameras. But the problem here arises when two things. Number one, the students may be cheating. They went to somewhere else having a holiday or belibur while turning on their classes, or perhaps the students' problems in buying data. We do know that turning on the camera during conferences does take a lot of internet data. Dr. Ahmad,
Yeah.
if you may.
Yes. This is in the last semester, I have two online classes, webinar, asynchronous, where students are just like today, as now, student attending the online class with Microsoft Teams. In the first week, I asked my students to turn on the camera. Yeah, so I know who is listening, who is escaping, but I know that, as you mentioned, that if you turn on the camera, the internet quota is running very fast. Okay, and also in some areas, the internet connection is not stable. Yes, so based on this condition, I asked the students to turn on the camera at least when in the first 2 minutes when I was filling in the attendance list, so I know who is attending, and then also the face. But once I finish checking the attendance, they can turn off the camera. If they want to ask, they may turn on the camera. Once again, it depends on their internet quota, and then also the
Logistic.
internet connection. Yeah, because
Yes.
if the internet connection is not stable, when you are using your camera, it will getting worse and worse.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my experience.
Okay, noted. Okay, Doctor, I am very interested in the notion of economy in where money versus education. I'm really interested because ever since the COVID-19 pandemic, these two topic has rivaled each other. Some people say education is important. Some people say money is important. Without money, you cannot eat. Okay, some might give harsh comments, say you cannot eat book. You need to eat food. Okay, for this question, Dr. Ahmad, if I may, some parts of the world are fighting and recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. The backlash resulted in financial crisis for everybody with limited amount of money to spend on education. Which one should the students spend on, whether laptops or smartphones? Based on your observation, Dr. Rahmat, and your experience, which one do you prefer and prove to be effective in delivering and conducting online classes?
Yes, I think that during the COVID-19, there is no other option other than online learning. Yeah, there's no other option other than online learning. But since online learning is requiring laptops, internet quota, and then I think this is a time for the government, not only the government, also the society who excuse me, who happen to have enough money, they can share for example in one school in Bogor, for example, in my hometown, there is a student who, due to economic problem, he cannot buy. I mean, of course, his parents cannot buy the mobile phone to attend the online class. So the teachers, they collect money to buy mobile phone for the students. So I think it is a good example. I think if we have awareness, it is time for us to hand in hand to help our generation to prepare themselves for a more challenging future. Yeah, as I mentioned before, that the government of Republic Indonesia soon will provide free laptops for students who cannot afford purchasing the laptops, and then also the government also provide free internet quota for students and then teachers. I think it's a good a good initiative, but it is our responsibility also when we know that there is a students who cannot join online classes because they do not have mobile phone to access. It is time for us to hand in hand help our generation. I think that's my statement. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ahmad, for a very insightful answer. Okay, we have one final question before we can wrap up today's session. Doctor, the COVID-19, okay, the last question, Dr. Ahmad, if I may. The COVID-19 pandemic has collected countless innocent souls, including our fellow educators. Based on your professional opinion, is it wise to hand over the torch to young educators, such as lecturers and teachers, to take over the education system, whereas some part of the globe stigma prevails, such as putting young educators in the shadow? If you may, Doctor.
Yes, I think why? In Bahasa Indonesia, there is what's that? A nice word. Ada setiap waktu ada orangnya. Setiap orang ada waktunya. Jadi, if this is the time for young people to hand over the task of the previous generation, why not? We are now in the situation that, as I say, that we cannot choose anymore. There is no other choose than do. That's my answer. There's no we don't have any other choices other than do what we can do now for a better generation, because in the first year of COVID-19 there is a fear that we will be losing one generation. Yes, I think that's Dr. Muhyiddin.
Okay. Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much, Dr. Rahmat Budiman from the Universitas Terbuka, Indonesia. Again, we would like to give our utmost of gratitude for your willingness to join on for the today's session and willingness to share your endeavors to our fellow educators, especially in Malaysia and Indonesia. And we pray that this session will give so many and countless benefits to our viewers so that they can practice and perhaps they can experiment new methods that they learn today to enhances their classes, inshallah. Okay, before we end and wrap up our today's session, I would like to inform again our fellow audience to don't forget to like and subscribe our Facebook page and our YouTube. Okay, please do not forget on our upcoming event. Okay, please refer to the poster. And before we end our session, Dr. Rahmat, please say a few words and hopes and advices to our fellow educators in Malaysia and Indonesia so that they will always stay positive and creative in delivering classes. Dr. Rahmat, if you may.
Okay, thank you. Okay, dear participants, my few words as a closing that we are now in the situation where we cannot choose. Yeah, we are in a situation that force us to adapt ourselves. So as educators, yes, as educator or professional in education, I would like to say that let us do the best. Yeah, let us do the best to educate our generation, our young people, because they will have to compete someday in the future, not only with their friends from their own uh, town or even country. They will compete with other people from other countries. So if we do not spend much effort to educate, to prepare our student now, I'm afraid they will not be able to compete in the future. So let us hand in hand together, we help our students pass this COVID-19 outbreak with excellent education. Thank you.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much, Dr. Rahmat, for your advice to our fellow educators. Okay, uh, studio manager, please display the attendance QR codes for the audience. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Rahmat Budiman, for today's session. Okay, we pray that our efforts will benefit to our fellow educators in their endeavors, in their teaching journey, inshallah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to scan our QR code, okay, to get your certificate. And for the UiTM staff, please do not forget to scan to get training hours. Okay, it is very important. Okay, since we do not have anything to share, okay, we have finally reached our closing point, okay, for today's session. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please express your gratitude to Dr. Rahmat for his willingness for his today's session. Okay, thank you, Dr. Rahmat. Thank you, Dr. Ahmad.
Thank you.
Inshallah, someday we will cross path again and we will continue.
Inshallah.
Yes, we will continue our endeavors together in making the world a better place through the methods of education, inshallah. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ahmad, for today's session. Salam, berjumpa lagi.
Terima kasih.